Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I come to you today with a message of hope, encouragement, and victory. A message that speaks to the very heart of what it means to endure, to press forward, and to step into the fullness of what God has prepared for you. Life is a journey filled with seasons. Some seasons are marked by joy and abundance, others by trials and challenges. Yet every season serves a divine purpose. We often find ourselves in moments where we feel overwhelmed, as if the weight of the world is on our shoulders. It's easy to think that we're being punished or that we are stuck in a situation without any way out. But I want to remind you today that every challenge you face is not just a random circumstance. It is part of a greater divine plan. A plan that is meant to shape you, refine you, and bring you closer to the purpose for which you were created. There are times when life seems especially difficult, and it may feel like God has abandoned you. You may feel as though you're going through the motions, enduring one trial after another with no relief in sight. But know this, God does not waste any moment of your life. Even in your darkest hour, He is working behind the scenes to prepare you for something greater. The trials you face today are not the end. They are only part of the process that is preparing you for what lies ahead. Every test you face is designed to prepare you for a greater level of purpose. Think about the story of a seed. A seed is planted in the earth, and it seems like it is buried in darkness, trapped in the soil. But the seed is not dead. In fact, it is being nurtured, it is growing, and it is being prepared to break through the earth's surface and rise to a place of prominence. It's the same with you. When you are facing hardship, it may feel as though you are buried, as though your dreams and ambitions are hidden away, far from reach. But in reality, you are being prepared to rise. You are being shaped into a person capable of handling the blessings and responsibilities that God is about to pour into your life. Many times, the challenges we face are not just random events, but are part of the divine training that prepares us for what God has in store. It's easy to become discouraged when we face difficulty, but it is in those very moments that God is teaching us something valuable. He is teaching us to trust Him even when we don't understand. He is teaching us to rely on His strength when ours has run out. He is teaching us patience, perseverance, and resilience. Each challenge, no matter how small or how large, is an opportunity to grow in faith and in character. And there is a purpose to it all. You see, God doesn't create anything without a purpose. He has a plan for your life that is bigger and better than anything you could imagine. Every challenge you face is part of that plan. The trials are not meant to defeat you. They are meant to prepare you for a future filled with His promises. You might not see the full picture right now, but trust me when I say that God is at work in ways you cannot yet comprehend. In the midst of the storm, it's easy to think that God has forgotten you. It's easy to believe that your struggles are signs of failure, but let me remind you today that God is not a God of failure. He is a God of triumph. When He allows you to go through a trial, it is because He knows what is on the other side of that trial. He knows that the person you are becoming through this process is exactly who you need to be in order to fulfill your purpose. So when you find yourself in a challenging season, I urge you to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on the struggle, look for the lessons that God is teaching you. Ask yourself, what is God trying to show me in this moment? What is He preparing me for? It's in those moments that we grow. It's in those moments that we are refined and made stronger. Remember that trials are never meant to break you. They are meant to mold you. They are not a reflection of your failure, but of God's faithfulness. God is faithful to finish what He has started in you. Even when it seems like everything is falling apart, He is in the process of putting things back together in ways you can't yet see. And know that when you come through this season, you will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the purpose that God has called you to. The challenges you face today are stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. They are the very things that will propel you into your destiny. So do not be discouraged when life gets difficult. Instead, embrace the process. Trust that God is using this time to prepare you for something greater. The best is yet to come. and you will rise from this season stronger and more equipped to walk in the fullness of your calling. This is the essence of God's divine plan for your life. He does not waste any moment. He is preparing you for something greater, something far beyond your current circumstances. When you look back, you will see that every trial, every challenge was part of the process of preparing you for the future God had in mind all along. Keep pressing forward because your greatest days are ahead of you. Every believer is called to endure tests of faith. It is an essential part of the journey, one that all of us must walk through at various points in our lives. But what does it truly mean to pass the test of faith? To understand this, we must first realize that faith is not simply a mental exercise or an intellectual understanding. Faith is an action. It is a trust, a belief that transcends what we see with our eyes and what we feel with our hearts. Faith is the assurance that even in the midst of uncertainty, God is in control. And His plan for our lives is good, even when it seems difficult or unclear. The tests of faith that we encounter in life are not always the kinds of exams that we can prepare for in the traditional sense. There are no study guides, no practice tests. Instead, they come when we least expect them, often in the form of situations that stretch us, that challenge our very understanding of how things are supposed to work. But these tests are not meant to break us. They are meant to build us, to strengthen our faith and our trust in God's sovereignty. When you face a test of faith, it is not the time to shrink back or to question whether God is truly with you. It is the time to lean in, to trust in the promises He has made, and to stand firm on His word. Passing the test of faith means that you have learned to trust God beyond what you see, beyond the difficulties you are facing, and beyond your own understanding. It means that even in the most trying of circumstances, you hold on to the belief that God's plans for you are good, that His love for you is unwavering, and that His power to work in your life is limitless. There are times when the challenges we face make no sense to us. We may ask ourselves, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? But faith calls us to surrender our limited perspective and trust in God's greater plan. We may not understand why certain things occur or why we have to endure certain hardships, but the test of faith asks us to trust that God, in His infinite wisdom, knows what is best for us. And in His perfect timing, He will bring us through. Faith is not a passive feeling. It is not about waiting for everything to align perfectly before we believe. Faith is an active choice, a decision to trust God even when our circumstances contradict His promises. It's easy to trust God when everything is going well, when our prayers are being answered as we hope and expect. But faith is truly tested when things aren't going as we planned, when we find ourselves in the valley rather than on the mountaintop. What does it mean to pass the test of faith? It means that in the face of difficulty, you do not turn away from God. You do not shrink back in fear or doubt. Instead, you press in, you hold firm to His word, and you continue to walk in obedience. Passing the test of faith is not about having all the answers or knowing how everything will turn out. It's about trusting that God has the answers, that He is already at work in the situation, and that His purpose will prevail. Consider the story of Abraham. God called him to leave everything he knew and to step out in faith toward an unknown destination. He didn't have all the details, but he trusted God's leading. Later, when God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac, the son he had waited for so long, it was another test of faith. Abraham did not fully understand why God would ask such a thing, but he trusted that God's plan was greater than his own understanding. Because of his unwavering faith and trust in God, Abraham was able to pass the test. He demonstrated that faith is not about having all the answers, but about being obedient and trusting God, even when it doesn't make sense. Faith is not about how much you know or how many scriptures you can quote. It's about how deeply you trust in God's ability to work in your life, regardless of what is happening around you. It's about knowing, without a shadow of a doubt, that God is who He says He is, that His promises are true, and that He will fulfill them in His time. In the test of faith, you will encounter moments of doubt, moments when it feels like you are walking through darkness. But remember, it is in those moments that your faith can shine the brightest. It is when you feel the most uncertain that your trust in God can become the most certain. The test of faith is not about passing or failing. It's about growth. It's about learning to trust God more deeply and more fully with every step you take. The final exam, the ultimate test of faith, is not about your knowledge of the Bible or your ability to articulate theological principles. It's about endurance. It's about trust. It's about standing firm on God's promises, even when everything else around you seems to crumble. And when you pass this test, you will discover that your faith has been refined, your character has been strengthened, and you are now prepared to step into the fullness of what God has called you to. So, my friend, as you walk through the tests of life, remember this. The test of faith is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a deeper, more intimate relationship with God. Every trial, every challenge is an opportunity to trust Him more, to grow in faith, and to see His power at work in your life. Keep pressing forward, for with every test you face, God is making you stronger, and His purpose is unfolding in ways you cannot yet fully comprehend. Trust Him. He is faithful. God's vision for your life has always been greater than anything you can see right now. The circumstances you face today, no matter how overwhelming they may seem, are not a reflection of who you are, but rather a preparation for the greatness that God has destined for you. You were created with a divine purpose, and that purpose transcends every obstacle, every trial, and every challenge that comes your way. The truth is that you are more than a conqueror. You may have heard this phrase before, but I want you to pause and truly let it sink in. Being more than a conqueror is not about simply overcoming difficulties or surviving your trials. It's about recognizing that the victory is already yours, not because of your own strength, but because of the strength and power that God has already placed within you. He has equipped you with everything you need to not just overcome, but to thrive, to rise above, and to walk in the fullness of your calling. In the midst of your struggles, it can be easy to forget who you are. The challenges of life have a way of making us feel small, insignificant, and even powerless. But let me remind you that you are not defined by your current circumstances. You are defined by the divine purpose that God has placed in your life. Your true identity is not tied to the difficulties you face, but to the unshakable truth that you were created in the image of God and that His plans for you are greater than any challenge you will ever encounter. When you face hardships, it's important to remember that those hardships are not meant to break you. They are meant to elevate you. The tests and trials that you go through serve to refine you, to strengthen you, and to prepare you for the greatness that is ahead. Just like gold is refined by fire, your character is being purified through the challenges you face. These tests are not obstacles meant to destroy your future. They are stepping stones that are positioning you for something greater. You see, challenges do not define your limitations. They reveal the strength that lies within you. Every trial you go through has the potential to bring out the champion that God has already created you to be. When you encounter difficulties, don't focus on how big the problem is. Instead, focus on how big your God is. Remember that God has already equipped you to overcome anything that stands in your way. You are not facing these challenges alone. God is with you every step of the way, empowering you to rise above them. Think about the great heroes of faith in the Bible. Each of them went through intense trials, yet each one emerged victorious. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and falsely accused. But through it all, God had a greater purpose for him. He rose to a position of power in Egypt, saving many lives and fulfilling God's promise for his life. David too was anointed as king, but had to endure years of fleeing from King Saul, facing numerous challenges, yet he remained faithful, trusting that God had a greater plan. Eventually, David became king, and his lineage would bring forth the Messiah. These men of faith endured hardships, but they didn't allow those hardships to define them. They knew that God's vision for them was greater than their circumstances. And so it is with you. Your challenges are not the end of your story. They are a part of the process that God is using to shape you, to refine you, and to prepare you for the greatness He has planned for your life. You are more than a conqueror because you have the Creator of the universe on your side. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is at work within you. The challenges you face may seem daunting, but when you understand the power that is at work in you, you will realize that nothing is impossible. No enemy, no obstacle, no difficulty can stand against the power of God in your life. You were not created to be defeated. You were created to conquer. And more than that, you were created to be more than a conqueror. What does it mean to be more than a conqueror? It means that not only will you overcome every challenge that comes your way, but you will do so with a sense of victory and purpose. You will not just survive, you will thrive. You will not just make it through the storm, you will emerge from it stronger, wiser, and more equipped for the future that God has planned for you. It's important to remember that your challenges are not a sign of God's absence in your life. They are a sign of His presence and His trust in you. God allows tests and trials because He knows that you are capable of handling them. He has already given you the tools you need to succeed. The more you lean into His strength and rely on His wisdom, the more you will realize that you are not limited by your circumstances. Your victory is already guaranteed because God is on your side. So, when life gets tough, don't look at your situation and think that it defines you. Instead, look to God and remind yourself of who you are. You are a child of the King. You are more than a conqueror. You were created with a divine purpose that no challenge can stop. Whatever you are facing today, know this: it cannot hold you back. You are being elevated through this process, and God's vision for your life is greater than anything you can imagine. Keep pressing forward. The victory is yours. You are more than a conqueror, and no challenge can limit what God has already destined for you. The essence of who you are is not found in what you own, what you have accomplished, or what you've experienced in life. It is found in the divine purpose that God has placed within you. Your identity is not defined by your job title, the amount of money in your bank account, or the accolades you have received. It is found in the unique calling that God has specifically designed for you, a purpose that predates your birth and transcends any of life's temporary challenges. We live in a world that often measures success by external achievements. The house you live in, the car you drive, the position you hold at work, or the recognition you receive from others. While these things are important in their own right, they are not the true markers of who you are. They are temporary. They fade with time. Your true identity is eternal, anchored in the purpose God has placed within you. That purpose is what defines your life, not the circumstances you find yourself in or the things you possess. The reason why we must understand this truth is because purpose is the source of strength, resilience, and confidence. When you know your purpose, you begin to see life through a different lens. Every trial, every moment of difficulty, every victory you experience becomes a part of a greater story that is unfolding according to God's plan. Your purpose is like the thread that runs through the fabric of your life, weaving together all of your experiences into a meaningful and coherent whole. Without understanding this, it is easy to get lost in the details of life, to get discouraged by setbacks, and to lose sight of the bigger picture. But when you understand that everything you go through is connected to your purpose, you can face each challenge with renewed strength and confidence. Your purpose is not something that is dependent on your circumstances or achievements. It is rooted in God's eternal plan for your life. It is the reason you were created. Think about it. Before you were born, God knew the purpose He had for you. He designed you with specific gifts, talents, and abilities that would allow you to fulfill that purpose. It doesn't matter where you are right now or what you have faced in the past. What matters is that you are still alive, and as long as you have breath in your lungs, your purpose is still alive and waiting to be fulfilled. When you face trials, it's important to remember that these difficulties are not meaningless. Every test, every challenge is connected to your purpose. It is through these tests that God is preparing you for what is to come. They are not stumbling blocks or signs of failure. They are stepping stones that will ultimately lead you to a deeper understanding of your purpose and a greater fulfillment of it. Each trial refines you, strengthens you, and teaches you valuable lessons that you will need on your journey. Without those moments of difficulty, you would not have the wisdom, the character, or the strength necessary to walk out your purpose. Consider the lives of great men and women of faith who have gone before us. Many of them endured incredible hardships, and yet they never lost sight of their purpose. Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and unjustly imprisoned, knew that his purpose was greater than the trials he was facing. He held on to the vision God had given him, even when everything around him seemed to be falling apart. And in the end, he rose to a place of prominence and was able to save many lives. David too endured persecution and hardship, but he never allowed those difficulties to distract him from his calling. Despite facing immense opposition, he rose to become one of the greatest kings Israel ever knew. These stories are not just historical accounts. They are examples for us to follow. They show us that no matter what we face, we must keep our eyes fixed on our purpose. Our circumstances do not define us. Our identity does not come from what we have or what we achieve. It comes from the purpose God has placed within us. And this purpose is greater than anything the world can throw our way. When you understand that your life is defined by purpose, not by possessions or accomplishments, it gives you the strength to endure. The trials you face no longer feel like a burden. They become opportunities to grow, to learn, and to move closer to the person God is shaping you to be. Victory becomes inevitable because you know that no matter what happens, your purpose will always prevail. You may face setbacks, but setbacks are not the end of the road. They are simply detours that lead you back to the path of destiny. Every moment of difficulty serves a higher purpose, a purpose that will not fail because it is grounded in the eternal plan of God. This understanding of purpose also brings confidence. When you know that you are walking in God's purpose for your life, you can move forward with boldness. You don't need to compare yourself to others or seek validation from the world. You can stand firm in the knowledge that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you were created to do. Your purpose gives you clarity and direction. So when challenges come, you don't lose heart. Instead, you press on, knowing that God has already equipped you with everything you need to fulfill that purpose. So remember this. Your true identity is not found in what you have, what you do, or what others think of you. It is found in the purpose that God has placed within you. That purpose is eternal, unshakable, and unstoppable. Every test you go through, every trial you face, every moment of victory is connected to that purpose. Understanding this truth will give you the strength to endure, the wisdom to navigate life's challenges, and the confidence to walk boldly in the destiny God has prepared for you. Victory is assured in your life when you align yourself with God's will. Many times we approach life's challenges and tests with a mindset that is filled with uncertainty, wondering whether we will make it, whether we will succeed, or whether we are equipped to handle what lies ahead. But I want to remind you today that the final exam you face in life isn't about passing or failing, but about understanding that your victory has already been secured. It's not a question of if you will succeed, but when you will see God's promises come to pass. Victory, according to God's plan, is not determined by your own abilities, your efforts, or your strength. Victory is secured through your trust and alignment with God's will. The battles you face, the trials you endure, are not meant to defeat you. They are meant to bring you to a place where you fully rely on God's strength and His promises. When you trust Him, when you surrender your will to His, you are positioning yourself to experience victory in every area of your life. There's a powerful truth in knowing that victory is not dependent on your own strength. God does not call you to fight in your own power, but in His. He is the one who goes before you, who prepares the way, and who guarantees the victory. The battles you face are not meant to be won by your own effort, but by the strength of God working in and through you. When you trust God, He takes your weaknesses and makes them strengths. He takes your limitations and makes them opportunities for His power to be displayed. Think of the story of the Israelites as they were about to face the mighty walls of Jericho. God told Joshua to have the people march around the city for 7 days. There was no natural reason why this would cause the walls to fall. It didn't make sense according to human understanding. But God's strategy was different. When they followed his instructions in obedience, they saw the walls come down. Their victory was not in their own strategies, their own might, or their own abilities. It was in their trust in God's instructions and in the power of God to bring about the victory. They had to surrender to God's plan, trusting that his way was higher than theirs. Victory is assured because it is rooted in God's faithfulness, not in your own effort. Think about the promises that God has made in his word. He has promised that he will never leave you nor forsake you. He has promised that no weapon formed against you will prosper. He has promised that he will provide for your needs and that he has a good plan for your life. These promises are not dependent on your strength or your circumstances. They are dependent on God's unchanging character. When you trust in God's promises, you can stand firm, knowing that he will do what he has said. This is what makes the final exam of life different from any other test. The outcome is not uncertain. Victory is not something that is up for grabs or contingent upon how well you perform. It is guaranteed when you align yourself with God's will. As you walk in obedience to him, he fights for you, and you are assured of the victory. You may face moments of struggle, you may face moments of doubt, but rest assured the victory is already secured. It is yours because God has already won the battle. Think about the ultimate victory that was secured for you through Jesus Christ. Jesus, through his death on the cross and his resurrection, has already conquered sin, death, and the grave. The victory has already been won. Now, as a believer, you walk in that victory. Every trial you face, every difficulty you encounter is a reminder that the victory in Christ is yours. When you face challenges, you are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory. The battle has already been won on your behalf. In every area of your life, when you align yourself with God's will, you position yourself to walk in victory. Whether it's in your relationships, your career, your health, or your finances, God's promises apply to every part of your life. Trusting in him and walking in obedience to his word allows you to experience his victory in every circumstance. But it is important to understand that this victory is not always immediate. There may be seasons where it seems like the battle is ongoing, where it feels like you are in the midst of a struggle with no end in sight. But even in those seasons, victory is assured. God is faithful, and he is working behind the scenes to bring about his purposes for your life. The victory you seek may not come when or how you expect it, but trust that God is orchestrating everything for your good. His timing is perfect, and his plans for you are always greater than anything you could imagine. Victory is assured because it is rooted in God's perfect plan for your life. You were created to succeed. You were created to overcome. The challenges you face are not there to defeat you. They are there to reveal the greatness of God's power at work in you. And as you continue to trust him, as you continue to align yourself with his will, you will see the victory that has already been secured for you manifest in your life. So stand firm in the knowledge that victory is assured. Trust in God's faithfulness, lean on his promises, and know that the outcome is already determined. You will emerge victorious, not because of your own strength or ability, but because of the power of God working in and through you. Now that you have passed the final exam, it is time to move forward with confidence and a renewed sense of purpose. There is no need to look back at the trials, the difficulties, or the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. The past has served its purpose. It has refined you, taught you valuable lessons, and equipped you with the wisdom and strength you need to step boldly into the future. Now is the time to press forward, knowing that the victory has already been won, and that God is with you every step of the way. There is something powerful about moving forward in confidence. Confidence is not rooted in your own abilities, but in the assurance that you are aligned with God's will, and that his plans for your life are unstoppable. The challenges you have faced in the past were not meant to break you. They were meant to prepare you for this moment, to equip you for what lies ahead. You are not the same person you were before the trials. You have been strengthened, refined, and equipped with the wisdom to navigate the path ahead. Understand that God has already gone before you. Every step you take, every decision you make, every path you walk, God has already prepared the way. His word tells us that He knows the plans He has for us, plans to give us a hope and a future. He is not surprised by the challenges you will face tomorrow. He has already made provision for you, and He has already ensured that victory is yours. So, as you move forward, you can do so with confidence, knowing that God has already gone ahead of you, making your way straight and guiding you with His wisdom. The tests you have faced have not been in vain. They have produced something within you that cannot be taken away. You have learned to trust God more deeply, to rely on His strength, and to walk in His wisdom. These are not just lessons for your past, they are tools for your future. You are now equipped to handle whatever comes your way, whether it's a new challenge, a new opportunity, or a new season of life. You are ready. You have the confidence of someone who has been tested and refined, someone who knows that they are more than capable because God is with them. Moving forward with confidence doesn't mean that there won't be any more challenges. It doesn't mean that everything will always go according to plan. But it does mean that you now face the future with a different mindset. You no longer approach life's difficulties with fear or uncertainty. Instead, you approach them with the assurance that you have already overcome, that God is with you, and that the victory is already guaranteed. This confidence comes from knowing that your purpose has not changed, that God is faithful, and that He has already given you everything you need to fulfill your calling. You must also remember that confidence is not arrogance. Confidence in God is about acknowledging His power and trusting in His ability to guide and provide. It's recognizing that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to fight your battles in your own strength. God is on your side, and with Him all things are possible. Moving forward in confidence means trusting in God's provision, His guidance, and His ability to work all things together for your good. There will be moments where doubt tries to creep in, where fear tries to rob you of your confidence. But in those moments, remind yourself of all that God has already done in your life. Look back at the victories He has already brought you through and use those as a reminder of His faithfulness. Every trial you've faced, every test you've passed has been a testimony to God's power working in you. That testimony is not just for the past, it's for the future. It's proof that God can be trusted, that He will see you through whatever lies ahead. As you step into the future, do so with a sense of purpose. Your purpose has not changed because of the trials you've faced. In fact, those trials have only strengthened your resolve to fulfill it. You have been called for a reason, and that calling has not been deterred by the challenges of life. Moving forward means embracing the unique purpose that God has placed on your life, knowing that you are equipped and empowered to carry it out. Administrators of the Warrior Gad, it's time to stop looking back at what you've been through and start looking forward to what is ahead. The best is yet to come. You have passed the final exam. The lessons are learned. The strength has been built. And now is the time to rise up with confidence and embrace the future with open arms. God has already gone before you. He has already provided the victory. All that is left is for you to walk in it, to move forward in the assurance that you are exactly where you need to be and that God will never leave you or forsake you. So, as you move forward, do so with confidence, knowing that the journey ahead is one of victory, one of purpose, and one that is guided by the loving hand of your Heavenly Father. Your future is bright because God has already ensured that you will emerge victorious. The final exam has been passed, and now, with confidence and purpose, you are stepping into the greatness that God has prepared for you. As I stand before you today, I declare that the journey you've walked, the tests you've endured, and the trials you've overcome have not been in vain. You have passed the final exam, not because of your own strength, but because of the grace, power, and wisdom that God has poured into your life. The victory you now stand in is not of your own doing. It is the result of God's faithfulness, His promises, and His divine purpose for you. Understand this. You were never created to fail. You were never designed to be defeated. Every challenge, every test, every trial you have faced has been a divine setup, a preparation for the greatness that God has destined for you. The final exam was not about proving your worth. It was about demonstrating your trust in Him, your obedience to His plan, and your unwavering belief that His purpose for you will always prevail. Now, as you step forward into the future, do not look back. The road behind you is paved with the lessons of the past, and those lessons are now a part of your story. But your future, your destiny, is ahead of you. And it is not a future of defeat or uncertainty. It is a future of victory, purpose, and fulfillment. With God on your side, you have already won. Your purpose will not fail. Your vision will not falter. The tests of your past have only made you stronger, wiser, and more equipped to walk in the greatness that awaits you. So I charge you today. Move forward with confidence. Embrace your destiny with boldness and assurance, knowing that the God who has brought you this far is the same God who will carry you through the challenges that lie ahead. You are more than a conqueror, and nothing in this world can stand against the purpose of God for your life. Victory is assured. Purpose is your identity. Your journey is not over. It is only just beginning. Now arise, walk in the power of your purpose, and step into the fullness of God's plan for you. Your best days are ahead, and the victory is already yours. God has already gone before you, and with Him all things are possible. Go forward in faith, for you are destined for greatness.